Welcome to TechbrothersIT. In this video, we are going to learn how to enable Azure Active Directory authentication for Azure SSIS IR integration runtime. Now, the scenario we are going to handle the SSIS DB that we would love to create will be on our managed instance. So that's enabling Azure AD authentication on Azure SQL managed instance. So that's what we are going to do. Now, what we are going to learn, we are going to learn how to create an Azure AD account. We are going to learn how to give a permission, a sysadmin, to the managed instance of to this newly created account. Then we are going to run the scripts to create the login for our Azure Data Factory as external login in manage SQL instance. We are going to talk a lot about this error. So why we are getting this error, I have no idea, but there are a couple of experiments I did it and I was getting this error and how to pass through this error to work it through. Now let's go to the document that I'm going to follow. So this is a document you're going to follow. I will put the link in the description. So it says enable Azure Active Directory authentication for Azure SSIS integration runtime. Now, this document explains two scenarios. One, when you are you have Azure SQL database. If you want to use Azure SQL database for SSIS DB, where you would love to store your SSIS packages, and you would like to use Azure AD authentication for creating your SSIS IR. So that's the first scenario. We are not dealing with this one. I'm going to create a video on this one as well and show you all these steps. We are dealing with our managed instance. We have created our managed instance, SQL managed instance, and then we are going to follow these steps. So first of all, what we need a managed instance. So I'm going to show you a managed instance, and let's go to our portal here, and here is my Azure SQL managed instances. So see right there is not a SQL database or Azure SQL database, it's a managed instance. So if I click right there, yeah, you can see some properties and all that. So I already had SSISDB and test. So what I'm gonna do, I created this managed instance with the one of the VNet. So this is a VNet in which I created subnets. So in the subnets, if you go right here, so I created multiple subnets. One subnet, this is the one I use to create this managed instance. Then I created another one that I will use in the SSIS. That's why I will use it there. And then I created another subnet that I used to create the VM. Because once you create the managed instance, you need to connect by using SSMS. So you need to have some server such as this one, and then you need to connect to that one. So here from the previous demo, what I was trying, and I had created this SSISDB, so I'm going to delete this one. So we will not have any SSISDB on this server. Okay, so SSISDB is gone. Now this is my managed instance. So this is how I got connected. So I remote to this VM that is also on the same VNet. It's using one of the subnet I just showed you. And then I went to the data engine, and then I provided my right there. So this is my managed instance. So I went there, and then I copied this host name, and that's what I have provided here. Then I logged in with my SQL authentication, so TV user, and then I provided my password, and it got connected. So that's what we have right there. So this is our managed SQL instance, and that's what we will be using it. Now, first of all, as you can see that SSISDB has gone now from the managed instance. So that's good. We are going to start with the very first step. So if you follow the document is going to walk you through saying, but again, it's confusing. It has some problems. So let's see, it says that what you will be using, you will be configure your Azure AD authentication for Azure SQL managed instance. If you want to do that, follow the below steps first. So don't miss this part. This is the first step you need to do. So once you open this one, it is showing you what you're going to do. You're going to go to the Active Directory. You're going to create some user, and then Active Directory. After creating the user, you're going to go PowerShell and all that. and this all the steps you will be doing it, and then you are setting admin here. Okay, and then once the admin is done, you're gonna log in through that one. Okay, so this is a pretty, I don't know, maybe you have to pick few parts of this one, but I will not really go through this document and start doing it. Just follow the steps I'm telling you. It's the same steps, but I'm just shortcutting this here. Now, once you create that user and provide him as a sysadmin to the managed instance, that's a requirement. If you don't do that, you're going to keep getting this error. And once you log in, we are going to run this query on our Azure managed instance. So first of all, we need to create a login, right? So it's going to be Azure Active Directory login. So go to these three dots here, and then go to the Active Directory here, and here you are going to go to the users, and we will say new user, and I'm going to create a new user. I'm going to give names such as, let's say, Amir. So Amir at my domain, whatever my domain is, and then I'm going to say his name is Amir Shehzad, and his first name is Amir, and his last name is Shehzad. Okay, once you have that, it's an auto generate, or let me create the password. I'm going to create by myself. Okay, so I created a password, and now I should be good to go. From here, we don't have to do anything else and create this user. If you see that user has been created successfully, and this is the click right there, you can copy the entire username here. So that's the name, Amir at the rate techasias.21196 outlook.on microsoft.com. So it used my account to create that Active Directory user. Now this is good, and what we are going to do here, we are going to go back here. We are going to go to the our manage instance. That's our second step. Now we will go right there, and then we will go to the Active Directory admin. Once we are there, it's going to ask us this information. Let me remove this admin because I already had it. So I'm going to show you how exactly it is there. So let me go back and see right there. If you see right there, it was showing you this one of the link there. So you're just going to click and then set admin. Once you set admin, it's going to ask you, and I'm going to paste this user there, and we'll select this. Now we select this, and we are going to make this Active Directory admin. Now we are going to hit save. Okay, our user has been set as a sysadmin on here on the main instance, and you can see right there. So it looks good. And now what we are going to do, let's go to the remote desktop, and here I'm going to connect to the managed instance, but I'm not going to connect with SQL authentication. I'm going to connect with the Active Directory Universal with MFA, multi-factor authentication. So I can click right there and then connect, and once I connect, it's going to give me this error. Okay, so object reference set to instance of object. Let's see what it is. Yeah, that's fine, but let's see if we do password. Okay, and we are gonna paste that user here and then provide the password. Connect. Okay, it's saying that the password is expired. So it's not really expired, and then this error we get because we can use this with the universal MFA. What error we get? Okay. So if we do that with the MFA, that's the first time you log in, and then provide a password for user. Sign in. So let's work on our password, and first of all we have to provide the current password, and let's see if that I know, and then I'm going to create a new password. So I'm going to set the password. Okay, sign in. Okay, so we are gonna skip this for now. We are just gonna keep for 14 days, and we should be all good here. So if you see right there, now I'm connected to the Azure managed instance by using my account Amir that we just created, and this one is just our SQL account that we created at the time of creating our managed instance. So here what we are gonna do, we are gonna go right there, and now we are gonna use that account connection. We are going to go to the master database, and then we are going to run a few statements. So what statements we need to run? So we will go to the document here and copy, and now once we copy there, and what's going to happen, we are going to go back to our remote desktop and open a new query, and I'm going to paste right there. So what it is asking us, it is asking us, hey, create login, your manage identity name, that is actually your ADF name. So I'm going to close this back because I do not have Azure Data Factory. Now let's go ahead and create our data factory, and what we are going to do here, we are going to go to right here, create, and in this I'm going to select our resource scope. So that's going to be SSIS RG, and then I'm going to create the data factory in the same region where our VNetting is. So North Central US, and I'm going to call this one Armor ADF test. Now this looks fine, and if I go to the Git, I'm gonna just leave this one here later. Networking. So this is the point I want to tell you, like if I will click right here, it's gonna create the manage virtual network. So that's why if I had this done, I was getting this error. So if you create the manage VNet IR at the starting of the data factory, you will probably keep getting the error. So this was my scenario. Maybe in your scenario it will not be true, but that's why I was keep getting this error. So to bypass that one, what I did, I just unchecked that and created my data factory first, then created my Azure SSIS IR, and later I created the manage VNet IR. So that's how I solved it. Anyways, I will suggest leave this one unchecked for now, and later on you can create the manage IR, so no problem. So we are done here, and once you are data factory is being processed and creating, our data factory is ready. And now what we are gonna do, we are gonna go and run that script. Remember that we are create login and your data factory name, so it's Armor ADF test, Armor ADF test, and that should be it. And I'm gonna copy and paste it right here as well. So now if you notice, I am logged in by using my user called Amir. Remember that Active Directory user that we created. So I'm logging in with that user to the manage instance. And that's what we need to use. I don't connect with your SQL authentication user. Connect with the Active Directory account that we created and made him admin on the manage instance. So first of all, we are going to go ahead and create this login. And once we create the login, what we are going to do, then we are going to provide this role information. Okay, our login has been created successfully, and now what we are going to do, we are going to go to security and take a look here. So we should see Armor ADF test right there, and then now we will give or add these login to these server roles. So it will be able to create the database. So once I double click here and go to server roles, and you can see right there it has a DB creator and it has the security admin permissions to it. Now we are all good here. We are going to go to Azure Data Factory and create our SSIS IR now. So click right there on the studio and it will open this window. You are going to go to the manage, and in the manage you are going to go to the integration, and here we have auto resolve integration runtime as of now that comes with the Azure Data Factory by default. We are going to go ahead and create Azure SSIS IR, and here I'm going to give a name, so I'm going to call it SSIS IR. Now it's going to be location is North Central US, and two cores are just fine. Hit next, and then we are going to select our subscription and create SSIS DB hosted by the Azure or managed instance. In our case, it's a managed instance. Now our location is North Central US, and we are going to select use AAD authentication with the system managed identity, because we already have added our Azure Data Factory name as logged into the managed instance. So that should do it, and now we are gonna go ahead and select parallel if you want to run 2 or 3 processes, whatever, and here you will select the VNet. So this is the same VNet I use for the managed instance, and then I created if you remember that I have created multiple things here. So if this is my SSIS VNet, and in this VNet I created multiple subnets. So there was one for subnet I'm using for my managed instance. So it is called the vnet-mi. So I used when I was creating a managed instance. So you can watch my video how to create a managed instance with the vnet and all that. So it will show you. It's simply just in the network, and you will provide on which vnet you want to create your managed instance, and then it will ask you the subnet as well. So you provide the subnet. Here also I create the VNet for IR. So in the same VNet, SSIS VNet, I have also the subnet created for IR. So this is right there. So this is the VNet we are going to use. So what I'm trying to tell you here, our data factory, SSIS IR, and our managed instance, they are going to be part of the same VNet and different subnet. So here, if you see right there, it's showing us subnets, and I'm going to select one IR one that I created. Now I can say validate VNet, and this warning is fine. We are good here. If there would be any issue, it would have told us. Now we are going to go ahead and continue, and just take a look on this. Everything looks fine, and we are going to create this part takes around 30 minutes. Sometime it takes 40 minutes. So just chill out, take your coffee or whatever, and then you should be fine. So it's if you see right there, it's in the process of starting, and now it says that successfully saved, and now starting SSIS or your integration on timer. So I'm gonna let it wait. Once it's finished, I will show you the next screen. So finally, we can see that our Azure SSIS IR is running, and it took almost 30 minutes, probably something like that, 37 minutes. So it came online. So now you can see that we have no problem, and we should be able to go to the managed instance here, and in the managed instance, we can refresh, and our SSIS DB is ready, and we should be able to deploy, or whatever we want to do, we should be able to do from here. Those packages that we can deploy in the SSIS DB and call them in the Azure Data Factory, or wherever you want to use it. Anyways, so from here, remember last time when I was talking about, like, if I would have managed IR created first, I would get error. So that's why I did not create the Azure Data Factory with manage IR first, but I let it create with the auto resolve IR, and then I created the Azure SSIS, and then now I can go, and if I need to create the managed IR, I can do that as well. So I'm gonna go right there. I'm gonna call this one managed IR, and here I can do virtual network configuration enable interactive authoring capability after creating, and there I can create in the same region. So I will go ahead and create. It's initializing right now. It can take probably like a couple of minutes to do the whole thing. So we are gonna just wait for a couple more seconds, and then it should be done. Okay, finally our managed IR is also created, managed virtual network, and you can see that it's running. Right now it's saying it's limited, but it's really not a big deal, because if you see right there, it's just telling you IRS can be used 15 minutes to be ready for data flow. So that's the warning does say that, but our managed IR virtual managed VNet IR is ready to go, and you can see that we have auto resolve, we have managed virtual network IR, and we also have Azure SSIS IR running in the same data factory. So not a big deal. Okay, so that's all for now, and I hope this video will help you to work on this scenario when you need it. And thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe my channel if you guys like my effort, and I will see you guys in the next video.